Hello, this is the RPG Crawler, and welcome to another Indie Game Friday. This week I'm going to be doing a rather brief one on a basic hack-and-slash RPG Lite, Immortal Darkness, Curse of the Pale King. Developed and published by Giant Space Monster, it was released on Steam back on October 17th, 2018. Immortal Darkness is a top-down, 3D dungeon crawler that revolves around dealing with various puzzles, finding secrets, and dealing with various enemies in a basic hack-and-slash manner. It is extremely light on statistics, but has definite upgrade tracks, an experience and loot system, occasional shopkeepers, and a developing story. It also has a sort of blood-drinking/evil accumulation mechanic that makes you have to balance the healing power of your blood-drinking abilities with the evil taint that it gives your character over time. In terms of plot, you play a warrior named Shade, who lives in a world where the vampiric Pale King has eliminated all opposition. Now, tainted with the Pale King's bite, you journey into his stronghold to face him and destroy him before you lose your humanity. The bite allows you to drain the blood of the fallen, but doing so accumulates evil over time. Once you have accumulated too much, you become a mindless vampiric thrall of the Pale King, and thus a game over. While exploring the halls, you face the minions of the Pale King, gather enchanted items and potions, discover there's more to the Pale King's lair than even the vampire knows. Once you enter the game, you are dropped directly into the dungeon. It is a simple place, and get used to the word simple in this, of walls, floors, moving platforms, traps, projectiles, and enemies. Controls are, again, simple. You can simply move about within a single plane, swing your weapon or activate things by left-clicking on them, drain blood from corpses in the room by right-clicking anywhere, and activate various potions and spellcasting items. You can also gather money to spend at merchants and lore delivered through notes that you can uncover in treasure chests. The character Shade has just a few stats. There's hit points, or the basic life bar, an experience bar that allows you to gradually gain levels, defense and attack that govern how much damage you take and deal in combat and go up with levels. There's also a faction icon that shows what faction you are aligned with. There's an evil bar that shows how close you are to turning full-on vampire, which has a defense and attack penalty associated with it that goes up as you become more evil. Evil accumulates when you drain blood for quick healing and goes down gradually when you kill enemies. You can also gain health or lose evil when drinking certain potions or activating certain shrines. Other potions may have a variety of other effects as well, temporarily boosting attack or defense, dealing damage in certain ways, and so forth. More long-lasting are the various enchanted items that you can pick up. Each one can be slotted into your quick bar and activates a spell when used. This may range from basic attack-type spells of various sorts to utility-type spells, and each one has a refresh timer, with some refreshing much more quickly than others. There's no mana or other spellcasting requirement in the game, so this cooldown serves as the main limit to using these items. You can also uncover useful ways to augment these items, basically leveling them up to produce more powerful effects. You also have a bag, which you can upgrade during play. Upgrades just grant additional storage slots, which can be used to hold additional potion types or additional magic items. Other things you can gather during play include skeleton keys that are used to open locked doors, as well as various gems that simply grant additional money when picked up. It's all very simple, but surprisingly fun in its own way. In terms of actual exploration, you can encounter various creatures of sorts, mostly vampires and service the Pale King, which come in a few different varieties. Mostly melee and caster types dominate these. As you proceed into the dungeon, you may start encountering other things. The dungeon is not simply a series of rooms, however. Many rooms have puzzles in the form of moving platforms from which you can fall off, buttons that you can push to open doors or shift platforms around, even sections of walls that can either be destroyed to reveal secrets, pushed to open paths, and so forth. There's statues that can be pushed around as well, traps to avoid, and more. All in all, it makes for a surprisingly interesting task navigating the dungeon. There's an automatic save point at the start of each dungeon level, but there's also save altars that can be activated to save the game on the spot. They appear to be placed commonly enough to be convenient without really making things too easy. Every couple of dungeon levels, there's also a full boss encounter, which is more complex than the simple enemies you encountered so far, although those have their own challenges. So the basic loop of the game is simply to kill enemies while taking as little damage as possible, because you have to moderate healing with the fact that healing using blood drain accumulates evil, and gathering an array of items to further venture in. It's incredibly simple, there I said it again, and honestly, it should get old quick. It is a simple formula. But the use of the dungeon elements to create interesting rooms, along with the placement of different sorts of otherwise straightforward enemies to present interesting encounters can allow for an otherwise pretty routine game to keep one's attention. In some cases, both specific encounter combinations and clever room combinations can combine to up the challenge even more. As far as art style goes, Immortal Darkness uses a almost cute look to present an otherwise dark fantasy world. It works rather well as long as you can appreciate the art style. Musically, it's not bad either, with low ambient tracks that seem vaguely reminiscent of some early entries into the Diablo series, simply fading in and out occasionally, leaving the dungeon sometimes silent save for the sounds of your spells and sword swings, and occasionally offering a bit of mood that swells up during certain encounters. The interface is as minimal as one can imagine with such a basic system. Overall, Immortal Darkness works surprisingly well for what it is, taking a handful of elements that are pretty fundamental to the game that should only barely work on their own to make a more enjoyable experience all in all by its combination. Supposedly it does have controller support, although I couldn't get mine to work properly. Still, the point-and-click interface isn't bad at all, and easy enough to get used to. Immortal Darkness almost feels like a Diablo Lite, except without the roguelike procedural element, and that actually may be a positive for some people. I think I can recommend it for people who would like that idea, although I must say that you may want to catch it on sale. It is on sale often enough that this shouldn't really be a problem, although the native price is not going to break the bank either. And on that note, I will wrap it up here. This has been the RPG Crawler with Indie Game Friday, Immortal Darkness, Curse of the Pale King, which honestly has a longer title than the name deserves, but hey, it's all good. As always, I'll put a link to where you can pick it up in the description below. If you like what you've seen, remember to leave a like, comment if you got any feedback, and subscribe for more RPG content, both tabletop and computer. Until next time, take care and goodbye. And if you're still watching this far, I'd like to take a moment to thank those who have supported this channel via Patreon or direct donations throughout the years, without which this channel could not have lasted as long as it has. For those who are feeling particularly generous, you can still support my work through Patreon and now through Subscribestar as well, through the links in the description below.